All right, welcome back to episode 264 of the Guy and Guns podcast. I'm your host, Troy.
And I'm your other host, Doug.
We, we use this podcast to talk about God, guns, and the responsible Christian gun owner's interest. On this week's show, we'll be talking about our 245th anniversary of Patriots Day. That'll be on the
Patriots Day.
18th, April 18th. It will be 245 years from that day when the first shot was heard around the world, the American Revolution. Also, want to thank our bandwidth sponsors, the Firearms Radio Network. We appreciate them sponsor our content for you guys to download. If you've not checked out other shows over there, please do. There are several new ones you may not have seen. Let's see, Skinny Medic's got his own show over there now, and there's a bunch. So check them out. Just to be aware, some of those guys are a little bit on the salty side. So just beware what you get into there. Also, I want to thank Oathkeepers TV for putting us out there live on their Facebook and stuff, and putting us on their on-demand channels over on Roku and all those different channels. They got a bunch of them, so we'll we are appreciative of them posting our shows over there as well. So if you guys are listening over on Oath Keepers. Thank you for listening in. And if you guys comment, we don't always get to see them live because I've got like 4 windows up. Doug's got a couple windows up, and there's like 5 different feeds going live. So we try to keep up, but we can't do all that and watch a show and keep the show going at the same time. So be patient with us. Also, want to thank
Crossbreed holsters. Hey, you've heard Troy and I talk about if you're carrying a gun in your truck, on your person, your wife's got one in her pocketbook. Crossbreed makes a holster for you. Go check our buddies out at crossbreedholsters.com. Carry the cross. Also, we got PowerTac lights. Hey, you saw a couple of lights that folks have. We gave away a couple from PowerTac, and I have one on one of my guns, and I think Troy bought one. And a bunch of folks have gotten them, and they are just really good lights. I got a headlamp that I use all the time, and man, they're bright, they're durable, and they got a lifetime warranty on them. So check out our buddies at powertac.com and help those guys out. Also, use our affiliate link for Palmetto State Armory. If you're looking for gun parts, putting a gun together, which I have one in there right now that I'm fixing to start working on tonight, maybe. And it's from our buddies at Palmetto State. Go check them out, and they will give us a little love back with everything that you buy. So that helps support our show. And Troy and I support it heavily.
yeah. I was over looking for some gun parts and reloading stuff just day before yesterday.
Were you?
Yeah. Let's see. So, what have you been up to with the God and gun activities, Doug?
Let's see. On my God side, I've been doing my Sportsman's Daily Devotional, church online again on Sunday. The gun side, of course, I've been doing my everyday carry, the 2 usual suspects. I got my Glock with me, and I got Puff 2.0 that stays around with me most everywhere I go now. I'm built, like I said, I'm building a new rifle for a buddy of mine. He just got it in, and he wanted me to help him get the parts out for a new AR pistol build. So it's going to look pretty much like the one I have, and he liked it. He came over to the house one day and was checking it out, and he really liked it and wanted to get one, so he did. So I'm putting it together for him, and I should have it done. I should have it done for him tomorrow. Shouldn't be no problem. But hey, man, I've been doing some pig hunting, and I have missed. Well, I've missed several in the last month for some reason, and I couldn't figure it out. And I missed 2 this past week. 2 days in a row. I missed 2 one night and 1 the next night. And dude, I could not figure it out to save my life. I go to the range, I'd shoot my gun, and I'm just dead on the money. So the other night, Wendy went with me, and we went over to shoot. I said, I just want to go shoot for a minute. So I had the optic on for my night vision, and it fits. I have an ATN PS22, which is a clamp-on optic that sits out in front of your scope. So your scope, basically, you're using your optics, your scope, the whole 9 yards. You look through the ATN for the night vision, and it shouldn't have any effect on it. Shouldn't. knock on wood. But I shot two the other night. Shot it twice, shooting at a steel plate that was, I don't know. I think it's a 10-inch plate, and I saw the bullet miss it, and I was like, "What the heck?" So I took it off real quick, and I raised up on it and shot with just a scope, and I put 4 rounds dead center, and I was like, "Okay, something ain't right."
Right.
So I was talking to my buddy that we had on the show the other day, Scott Radeball, who's
Hmm.
a long range shooter, and I asked him, I said, would that have any effect on it? He said, well, he said, you're looking through a lot of glass through the scope, and you're looking through a lot of glass in the night vision. He said, yeah, it could. So he and I went out Tuesday night, right before dark. And what I did was, we were talking if I was going to have to change my zero. I still want to be able to hunt with it in the daytime or
Hmm.
nighttime. So my Palmetto State, one of my Palmetto States that I have built has, had a Vortex Viper on it, which has the turrets on top and the side where you can adjust on the fly for windage and elevation. So I switched. I put the Burris Tac 30 from the Axelson over on the Palmetto and put the Viper on the Axelson. So we took it out right at dark the other night. We zeroed it, got the gun shooting, I mean, dead center, put the night vision on it and shot. And I was probably about, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches low and 4 or 5 inches to the right. So I have been missing because my point of impact is not where I thought it was. So
Yep.
when I'm trying to head shoot these pigs, and actually, when I had the Burris Tac 30 on there, actually it was doing the exact opposite. It was shooting high and right with that optic on it, looking through it. Why it made a difference, I have no idea. But that's what it was doing with the Vortex. So we got it sighted in daytime, zeroed out the turrets, and then put the optic on the front and shot again. And then we zeroed it to that. And I got a whole bunch of calculations in my phone as to where I need to set my turrets at. If I'm shooting Full Metal Jacket, if I'm shooting 55 grain, we'll get a couple more if I'm shooting 62 or 74 grain, depending on what I'm shooting. And that way I know. I'll just dial up. If I'm shooting a 55 grain Hornady, I know I got to go 3 clicks up and 4 clicks to the left. And it put me dead in the money. So I left it exactly where it was at hog last night and didn't even get big. And then Matt's father-in-law texted me pictures today after me and my buddy Andy went last night. The hogs came in at about an hour and 20 minutes after we had left. They came in. They were there from like 1:30 till 5 in the morning, and they cleaned me out on corn.
Oh my gosh.
I went and loaded them back up tonight, and I'm probably going to go tomorrow night and see if I can't get them. Hey, did you see that picture I posted today on God and Guns?
I saw that.
Dude, is that not a nice rifle?
Sure is.
That is my buddy Andy's rifle. It's a Ruger Precision in 338 Lapua, and he's got a nice scope on that thing. He's got a nice Leopold on it, and it is tricked out. He wanted to take it last night and put my night vision on it so he could shoot that. I'm like, dude, I said, we can't shoot that thing at night, man. I said, we'll wake up half of Bibb County when you pull the trigger. Not to mention you're going to blow my hat off and probably blow my optic off my rail on my rifle and everything else we got sitting on the ledge in the shooting house. But he wanted to shoot. I told him that thing is immensely huge. And I told him, I said, there's no way you'll be able to get that thing out the window to shoot a pig if one does come out. But he's in a club down in Savannah, hunting club that's got covered up with pigs, and he is jonesing so bad to go down there and shoot a pig with that thing.
I can imagine.
I'm like, man, we won't have nothing left if you hit him. But he's gonna get one with him. I'm gonna get him out there. We'll get one during the daytime. Hopefully, we'll find one that'll come around and we'll get him. But hey, thanks to my buddy Scott for going out with me the other night, and we got that joker zeroed in good, and we'll see. Hopefully, it's shooting true where I hope it is. Now, I ordered so we don't have to keep going out and checking cameras and all that stuff. I finally just broke down today and I bought one of the Spy Point cameras that's got the cellular in it that sends you the pictures to your phone. and notifies you when they're there. So I might be sitting on the couch or doing a show one night and get a text message. I'm like, all right, Troy, I got to go. Pigs are,
Pigs are there. I gotta leave.
pigs are there right now, and I've only got 50 pounds of corn on the ground. I got to go kill them. Dude, we got a night vision video last night. Andy's got you got a 4K Pro, don't you?
Yeah.
So he just put a new 4K Pro on one of his rifles, and he was sitting there last night. And we were looking with the thermals down through there, and we saw something moving, walking up the road, coming at us. So he turns the night vision on. We knew it wasn't a pig. He turned the night vision on and starts videoing, and it was one of the biggest bobcats I think I have ever seen in my life, dude.
Oh, really?
Oh, he was a monster. And he just walked up the road, and he cut about halfway between the feeder and where we were sitting, and turned and walked up in the woods and took off. But we got him on video, which was pretty cool.
That's cool. Is there a season down there? You can take them anytime.
Nah, there's a season on them. You can't shoot them this time of year.
Yeah, okay.
I wish we could have. I'd love to shoot one and have one mounted.
Yeah, eating all those turkeys right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are. All the pigs that we've been getting on camera here lately have been boars. All the sows have disappeared. And only thing I can think of is they're probably dropping litters of pigs somewhere and staying close to those little ones right now, not venturing out a long ways with them, because there's a lot of coyotes over there, so they're probably being pretty protected right now.
Wait, so.
But hey, we do also, last but not least, we got the Bulwarks class coming up on May 2nd. I was talking to Jesse the other day, and nobody's really signed up for it yet.
Oh.
Well, we're locked down in the state of Georgia, along with just about everybody else, for a lot of things. So people are probably waiting to see, if the state emergency is going to get lifted or all that good stuff. So it's hard to say. But as of right now, it's still a go. We're going to try it. And, who knows? If it gets a little bit closer, we'll see, what the governor says down here. And hopefully we can have it. But, in case we can't, you never know.
Good deal.
My buddy JT just joined us. What's up, JT?
Douglas, he calls you.
He does. I'm surprised he didn't call me Charles. That's what he usually does.
Charles Jr.
Yeah, that's it.
There's my friend Gary Hornick.
What's up, Gary?
One of my best friends. Haven't seen him for a while.
I don't know why, for some reason, I cannot see the live feed on the Facebook side to watch it over there, for comments, because I can't comment on.
Check the position of your mouth.
Check a what?
Check the position of your mouth.
Oh, I hold my mouth.
Hold your mouth. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm keeping up with YouTube, and I've got Oath Keepers live feed. I'm trying to keep up with that, and then I've got the show notes, and then I've got Bible verses, and then the StreamYard feeds all coming in. So it's I can't do no more. I'm gonna need to hire somebody.
I got the YouTube one. Oh no, that's not it either. I got the YouTube one up. I'm watching that one.
Okay, well, I won't bother with that one. I'll let you comment on that one, and then I'll try to focus on the other four. All right, so my guiding gun activities. Reading the Bible. We had online sermons like you guys have, and parking lot services. But although here in Kentucky, they were threatening, our Democrat governor here in Kentucky was threatening to have police come to the church parking lot, write down your license numbers, and threaten to quarantine you for 14 days if you sit in your car in your parking lot. So, it's always good Democrats that always trying to tell you what to do. But I don't want to get all political. But I saw where A.G. Barr said that that's not allowed to happen. So that's a good thing, because when they have abortion clinics open for business, but you close the churches down to save lives, I think that they're talking out both sides of their mouth myself.
Mm-hmm.
You go to Lowe's and buy all your stuff you need, and go to the grocery store and buy all your stuff you need, but you can't go to the church parking lot and sit in your car and listen to a local broadcast. I think that right there is tyranny. But, I'm going to get off my soapbox and finish up my guiding. So I started that prayer and fasting we've been talking about forever this Monday, and it's off to a rocky start. I mean, it takes a while to shake things down and figure out how to get things going. And now I think there was a couple episodes I didn't ever take the starting soon icon off the front of it. I think we did that here on this show for a while. I finally started putting my show notes, so I remind myself to take down some of the displays, and I can't see because my eyes itching. I have to take my glasses off. Sorry about that. And let's see what else we did. So I did fast. I fasted on Monday and prayed, and then we of course had the show, and I don't know, it was like 20 minutes or so. Tuesday did a little bit better. Started like 15 minutes earlier, and then I didn't fast Tuesday or Wednesday, and then I'm fasting again today. And I'm not a pro at it. I'm learning. And if you guys would like to join us, I try to have it early on Friday morning, early on every morning. I don't know if we're going to do Sunday mornings or not, but we'll see how it plays out. But try and do early every morning or early-ish. Today was really late because I had something come up and I got distracted. I got really early this morning, and then I got back to bed, and then I had other things pop up. So today was really late. But hopefully I can get my schedule all sorted out, and so I can do this on a regular basis. So if you guys like it, let me know. There's a few people that are watching it live, but there's a lot of people that aren't. And so if you guys don't really have that much interest in it, I might cut it back to 1 or 2 days a week. But if you all are finding it good and want to watch it, and see that there's lots of views and lots of prayer requests and things like that, we'll keep on doing it. And I set up a Prayer Warriors group on the Guy and Guns podcast page. I invited some of you regular guys that I know are here often. And if you'd like to join, it's open. You can see it. You can join it. There's no requirements like there is with the Elders Club or the Elders Group. So that was my God side. I've been praying a lot. On the gun side, of course, EDC. I'm always, if I got pants on, I got a gun on. Sometimes when I don't have pants on, I got a gun in my hand. So
I know, right?
Yeah, let's see what else. Been working on reloading. Been inventorying the powder. I found I had 14 pounds of bullseye pistol powder. I could load 45 and 10 millimeter, and what else can you load bullseye?
14 pounds.
14 pounds. I didn't realize I had that much. I opened up had some ammo cans and back in the closet, and I pulled out, and I was like, man, look at all these. Apparently, I was buying it every time I saw it because bullseye I use a lot for different pistols, and then I've got a whole bunch of power pistol. I'll use that for my 10 millimeter, and then I got a whole bunch of different powder I found. Changed out the sights on my bunker AR. Put a new sling on another rifle.
What sights you put on the bunker AR?
I put on the big dot tritium sight. Big
on
white
your AR?
On my AR, yeah, on the front post.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's for old eyes like mine, man. You got to pick it up really good. And then it's got the tritium, so in low light you can see pretty well. And then, so yeah, they were on sale a while back. I picked one up. And they've got Devore had them on. What brand did they have on sale the other day? They had some tritium post sights on sale. I think it was last week or week before last for like $39 or something like that for a tritium front post sight, which is pretty reasonable.
I did buy one other thing. I got an Armor's torque wrench ordered that should be here tomorrow, I think. So I can set screws for, scope mounts and attaching stuff and all that stuff, and get the same amount of pressure every time if I take it on, take it off. So it'll be the same every time. So.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I got one of those. Wait a second. I got one of those. Yeah, it's right over there. I see it on my workbench.
Then they are nice, aren't they?
Yeah, I use it for especially my scope mounts and stuff like that, so I don't
Hmm.
over torque the screws or under torque them. And then I got some Loctite
Well,
because I was running out of Loctite for my screws on my guns.
that's one of the things that Scott and I were talking about. We were sighting that gun in the other night. I just been putting the night vision stuff on there and just tightening it down and taking just a little wrench and tighten it tight enough and
Snugging it.
yeah, just snugging it up. So I don't know that it's the same every time. And like you said, it could be the amount of glass that you're looking through. ATN promotes that thing as it should be just a straight pass through, but it is not here lately. I've had it. I mean, before I was killing hogs with it, but I don't know what changed. I guess I took it off and tightened it up more than normal or something and put it off. I don't know, but
Hmm.
it has been driving me crazy. I hate missing stuff.
Yep, that's aggravating. Every round that you lose something, that's some money down the drain.
Yes.
Plus, you don't know where it's going too.
Well, I
That's
spend 45 minutes out in the woods walking around with a thermal looking, trying to find a pig that I think I shot
yeah,
that ain't there. I'm like, why ain't he bleeding?
yeah.
Well, you got to hit him.
Gotta hit them first, then they bleed.
They bleed a lot.
Let's see. Is that all my gun stuff? Yeah, I worked on my reload bench. I've organized my brass, sorted out a bunch of brass. One of my friends here locally gave me 800, say 500 rounds of 9mm brass and like 300 rounds of 5.56 and 200 12 gauge holes. So I've got set up for a while there. I can run for a while. So I'm waiting on some stuff from Natchez. They've been running about 2 weeks before they ship, and 2 weeks is almost here. And there's some components I need from them to finish that up. I ordered some stuff from Brownells, and they shipped it in 2 days. So I guess Brownells is better squared off than their buddies at Natchez. But Natchez, they got more reloading selection, and their prices are better. I have to say, I like Brownells, but
That's probably why it's taking Natchez a little longer to get it to you.
yeah, they got better prices.
You're-
Mid South, I used to order from Mid South, but their prices are higher than Natchez too.
Really?
Yeah, and Natchez come out of Tennessee. I mean, it's 1 day shipping pretty much for me, but
I guess that's the reason I don't reload, man. I can't afford another hobby.
well, your hobby you would save money for your shooting. See,
But you got to have time to reload them.
what I thought we got you a reloader.
We did, but you got to have time. You got to have time to do it.
You got to stop hog hunting one night a week and to
Oh.
reload.
I don't know if I can do that. Yeah, I gave when I moved to the house I'm in now. I had Folgers coffee cans full of brass, and there ain't no telling how many hundreds of rounds I gave to my friend Luke. His dad. I gave him a bunch of brass.
You're killing me.
You're killing me, Smalls.
You're killing me, Smalls.
I'll save you some. I'm getting quite the collection built up in the corner of that blind where I've been shooting at hogs. So
Yeah, A308, 223, or 556. I'm gonna start packing that stuff away.
I don't have a 308 actually. I had one.
308?
I had one of those set me 308.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I,
you
don't know,
do.
I didn't like it much, so I traded it for something else.
One of the Spanish ones. Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Century Arm imports or whatever they are.
I don't know. I think we're too close here. I feel like I'm too close. I'm gonna scoot it back. Pop up windows, man. I hate pop up windows. Okay, so we had a little bit of feedback on I forget on Facebook. I think I don't know if we
Facebook or iTunes.
on Facebook. We got some iTunes reviews. Let me see if I can find those. I've got like 6 windows open on this other machine over here. Let's see if I can find. Where's it at? All right, there it is. So on iTunes, we had 2 reviews in March we missed because we were lazy. First one comes from Country Boy 1. He said, I heard your March 6th podcast and was wondering how I win the flashlight. Well, you missed it. If we're just now reading it, I'm sorry for that. But you would, it was on Facebook, and you would, I think it was on Facebook.
It was. Share.
On Facebook. So you just had to share the post on Facebook. If you didn't have Facebook, I'm sorry. That's the way we did it. And he gave us 5 stars. We appreciate that from Country Boy. Also, we have a 5-star review from Rhino, RY_KNOW. And he said, I really enjoy the show. I think what y'all are doing is a great thing, and I look forward to hearing every show. So we appreciate that 5-star review.
Well, thank you.
So thank you guys. Appreciate that very much.
We haven't had a review from our, well, not mine, but your Canadian buddies in a long time.
Hey, let's don't stir up no trouble, man.
Kennedy.
Let's don't poke the bear. Don't poke the bear.
Poke the bear.
All right, so you got a joke for us.
I do got a joke for it.
Or is it a good one?
That's actually pretty good.
Okay.
Our buddy Chad sent me this one, so I was going through some ones I hadn't seen this one, so I read it. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. Anyway, 3 brothers, age 92, 94, and 96, are living in the same house together. One night, the 96-year-old brother went up to take a bath. He puts his foot in the tub and pauses. He yells downstairs, was I getting in or out of the bath? The 94-year-old brother yells back, I don't know. I'll come up here and see. So he starts going up the stairs and he pauses. Then he yells, was I going up the stairs or was I coming down? The 92-year-old brother was sitting in the kitchen, drinking a cup of coffee, listening to his brothers. He shakes his head and says, I sure hope I never get forgetful like that. He knocks on wood for good luck, and he yells up the stairs, I'm coming up, and I'll help both of you just as soon as I see who's at the door.
Man, I can see that. You know, the older I'm getting, I walk out of a room, and I'm like, now what did I come in here for? And I have to sit there and think for a second, and I'm like,
dude, I do it
I
all.
give up. I'm going to go back when I go back in the room, I'm like, oh, I remember what I went back in there for.
I'll get up and walk out here to the man cave. And I'm like, I get out here. I'm like, what did I come out here for? I don't remember. I go back in, mess around for a minute. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember what I was going to do. It's sad.
Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't remember what you're going to do. Sometimes you like, I give up, and then like the next day you're like, I remember what I was going to do. Mm-hmm. Why was I going to do that?
Why was I looking for that?
Yeah, I've got lots of boxes of things sitting around in the bunker here, and I'm like, why did I put that there? Why is this here? Who put that there? And then they say, you. One of the kids like, you put that there. I did. Well, at least you get a lot of exercise out of it. You know?
You do. You do.
All right, we're going to hit the Bible verse tonight. We're reading from Galatians 6. Galatians 5. I have my radio on here listening to the local PO department. Let's see. Galatians 5:1. Right where you guys can see it. Now look over this huge screen over here so I can see it. Under the title Christ has set us free. Verse 1 here, it's highlighted in green. I don't know if you guys can see my little cursor. For freedom, Christ has set us free. Stand therefore and do not submit again to the yoke of slavery. And I've got amplified over here as well, so it might be needed to expand on that. But it was for freedom that Christ set us from free, completely liberating us for our sin, right? Therefore, keep standing firm and do not be subject again to the yoke of slavery for which you once removed. So, being this is Freedom Week, this really has nothing to do with Revolutionary War that we're going to be talking about later on tonight, but it is still a good verse, you know, that When you are a slave, when you are committing sin, you're a slave to that sin. And when Jesus came and became your Lord and Savior, and you repented from your sin, you turned from your sin, and you turned towards Christ, you don't want to turn back towards sin because Jesus paid the penalty. He paid the sacrifice for that sin that you've already committed. You turning back to that sin is putting Christ back on the cross, as to say, not really, but I mean, whenever you turn back to sin, you're putting back on the bonds, the handcuffs, the chains, the thing that ties you down to sin. It ties you back to that. You can't. You're now back in the bondage of sin until you ask forgiveness for that sin. You repent from that sin. And you turn away from that sin. So Paul here in Galatians is reminding us that we need to make sure that we are staying away from sin because anytime you commit sin, you again are putting yourself in the bondage of sin. You're then being subject to sin, and you're trying to, cover up sin, or you're trying to ignore sin, and God won't let you do that. You can look at King David's life, right? You can see how when he committed sin, that God would not allow him to continue that sin. He reminded him of it, and he brought him back to repentance again. And so, just as God calls us to forgive others, God forgives us, and He is faithful to forgive us. And if we turn from our sin, we have a habit of always being in sin, then maybe we don't have a relationship. Maybe we're not. Maybe we don't put enough. Um, we're not investing in our relationship with Christ, and so we need to really monitor your thoughts, your decisions, what you do. But good reminder here from Paul that sin is bondage, and sin enslaves you, and sin will destroy you, and it will destroy your soul if you allow it to. So turn from sin and turn towards Jesus, and don't go back. What is it? One of the verses says, "Like a dog returning to its vomit, as a man returns to his sins." So you don't want to eat vomit, right? So it should be repulsive. You should hate sin as much as God hates sin. Uh, when you realize it just affects and destroys your life. So get away from it. Don't play with it. I played with sin a lot, and I paid the price for it. Still paying the price for it. Uh, I can tell you, don't think your sin, your little pet sins, the ones that you just seem to keep on going back to, they will destroy you given time. Uh, and you need to not do that. I'm speaking from experience. Anything you want to say on that subject, Doug?
No, what was it you said? Well, let's don't. I'm not going to drag mine up because I was there too.
Yep. so, so that was that. Cat in the Hat. So we're done with the Bible verses for the evening. We're ready to move on to the main topic. So April 19th, 1775. That is this April. What would that day? What would that day be? See, we're on what 16th now, so 3 days from now, which is what? I don't have a calendar in front of me. Be Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So on Monday,
Monday.
it will be 245 years from the Patriots Day. The Patriots Day was when the Redcoats marched on Lexington and Concord to take away their guns, their cannons, and their ball and powder. So, as we are all locked in our houses under house arrest for being told that there's a deadly virus raging in the country that's killing everybody left and right, I think the first predictions were 1 to 2 million people in the United States were going to die from it.
Mm-hmm.
3 days after that prediction, it was going to be maybe 500 to 600,000 people. Then last week, maybe 100,000 people. I think the current number is what, 20 something thousand, 20,
Yeah,
30,000.
20 to 30, I think it is.
So it was really hyped. It appears to be on the downside from what I'm hearing. Is that what you're seeing, Doug, in the hospital there?
Oh yeah.
It's starting to drop. I'm hearing that they don't need anywhere near the number of ventilators they've been producing. You can start picking up ventilators probably in a week or two for $50 on eBay. So,
In certain cases, it's bad,
yeah,
and it's bad for people that have underlying health issues, is what we're seeing. And but the flu and pneumonia get just as many people with underlying health issues.
yeah,
So, it's hard to say, but it's like the gloom and doom that they preach on the news is not. We're just not seeing that many numbers, and now they're testing everybody and their brother. So the
yeah.
number of tests they're doing versus the number of positives that they're having compared to the number of deaths of the positives they have is just not there.
Yeah, I mean, what was 60 something thousand, 69,000, something like that died last flu season in the United
Yes.
States,
Hmm.
and so we're not even there yet. And and they already have vaccines for that. And so Bill Gates telling me he's going to make me take his vaccine. Bill Gates, the person who funds Planned Parenthood out of his own pocket and wants to off everybody that he doesn't think is smart enough or valid enough. I don't want to take his vaccine. He's not a doctor. I don't think his vaccine is going to do what he thinks it's going to, or what he plans for it to do. Steve says it's Sunday, so maybe it's Sunday. Today is Thursday. Yeah, it would be Sunday. I can't count, Steve. I'm sorry. so, so Sunday will be the 18th. Sorry, I don't have a calendar in front of me. I've got 3 screens but no calendar.
Be the
All right,
19th.
huh?
Be the 19th, right?
Is it the 19th? So, yeah, 19th. So it would be Monday. Was I saying the 18th or 19th? I don't know.
So,
Let's move on. So the 19th will be the 245th anniversary of the shot heard around the world, when the redcoats came, and we had. It goes back to, I mean, back in the 1773, you had the radicals in Boston that started the Tea Party. Remember the original Tea Party? They were called the Sons of Liberty.
mhm.
They boarded the 3 East India Company ships and threw over 342 chests of India tea. Because of what? Why did they throw them tea chests in the harbor there?
To rebel.
Against taxation. Taxation without representation, the tea tax. So the king, in order to fund all the wars he had been involved in, including some things for the American colonies, had to raise some funds, and so he put taxes on teas, tax stamps, and he did all these different little taxes. Well, that caused people to get upset because the problem they were having was that they had taxation and they weren't being listened to. When they went to the House, what was it, Williamsburg? They had the king had his representatives on one side of the legislature, and they had the colonists had their representatives, and they would go up and they would meet together in a room across between the 2 houses, or 2 halves of the house. Well, the king quit meeting with the people. He didn't listen to them anymore. The representative of the king quit listening to the people and just started issuing edicts. And the British subjects, which were American colonies, said, "Hey, wait a second here. You're not letting us have representation. You're not listening to our grievances, and so we are filing grievances about what you're doing, and we don't agree with the way you're doing it." And the king said, "Talk to the hand." And so,
I don't care.
so the people got tired of that, and so the king sent in troops to live in their houses for free. So you had to provide for the redcoats to live in your house or on your property. And if they needed food and things like that, they would just take what they needed. And
Hmm.
so there was the Sugar Act and the Stamp Act and the Townsend's Act. And In 1770, there was some British troops fired on civilians in Boston, killing 5 people. And that's when the slogan "No taxation without representation" came about. The 1773 Tea Act was a 3%, a 3 pence tax on each pound of tea. That's pretty low if you think about it compared to what we're paying nowadays for taxes.
Right.
And then there was lots of protests, and then I'm just sort of reading a summary through it just to give you guys a background that haven't studied it. There's a great book that talks about the whole conflict called Paul Revere's Ride. I've mentioned it on the show before, and it's by David Hack. It's got a sticker over it. David Fisher. Yeah, David Fisher. And I've read it lots of times, and it's part of the materials that you study if you do the Revere's Riders shooting program. You shoot for a wall, then you hear stories and history about the early American revolutionaries, what happened that day, what caused the. I think it was the 3 strikes before everything happened. Before the shot was fired, the British say the Americans fired the first shots. Americans say the British fired the first shots. There's no true. I mean, there's no one account of that nails it down. But whatever the whatever the reason, there was a shot fired, and so people died, and so that incensed the American colonists, and they said, "You're not going to come here and try to seize our weaponry, seize our guns, seize our cannons, and ball and powder." And so they took them and hid them in the fields, and they plowed the field, they plowed over the the cannons and the ball and all that stuff, and they took the barrels of powder and they moved those out of the storehouses. Because if you've ever been to Williamsburg, they have what's called and I'm going to draw a blank, um, where they keep all the guns out on the base gun
Armory.
armory. They had an armory. So it was a stone building, right? And inside that stone building, you had all kinds of muskets and all kinds. You had the cannonballs, you had a cannon in there, barrels of powder. And so if your community was attacked, you went in there and you rolled out the cannons and you loaded them up and you started attacking back, right? You started counterattack against the. So each community had that. Each person was required to have, each able-bodied man, so over the age of, I think, what was it, 16, 17, something like that, was supposed to have their own musket. They were supposed to have their own powder, their own ball for the gun, and they were supposed to be ready to go at a moment's notice. And so that was the militia. And so when we hear talking about in the Second Amendment the security of a free state, that the militia, right? Well, the militia was every able-bodied man that was able to pack a gun and go to battle was supposed to be ready to do that, and that's why we have the Second Amendment, to be able
So,
to. Go ahead.
and I was going to say, so wait a minute now. So, what we hear on TV and the news and stuff, they didn't really come to take their squirrel rifles, did they?
No, they came.
Everybody had a cannon.
They come to take their military weapons, which they all had.
Right.
And back then, the army, like the redcoats, they had muskets just like the colonists because they were all equal, right? They all had the same weaponry. Now, of course, they had more ships, but there were privateers. They had their own battleships. Private men who owned their own battleships, or companies that owned their own battleships that went out and under contract of the king waged war with the enemies of England. And so there was no other than the king trying to take away their guns because he'd already tried to close them out of everything else. There was no superior firepower other than just other than just regular army, regular military people. And of course, the king had the Hessians that he hired, the mercenaries he hired to come in and deal with the revolutionaries here in the States. And so he wouldn't send in mostly Englishmen to harass them. He hired the Hessians to come in and to attack the Englishmen, because we were all Englishmen back then before the revolution. So we had all these steps were more and more encroachments by the king and not listening to their grievances, not negotiating with them, and just running roughshod over the people until you got to that day when they come to disarm them. And once you are disarmed, you're no longer a free man. You're a slave.
It's done.
It's done. Once they take away your weaponry, your ability to defend yourself against tyranny, then you're a slave. You're a slave of the state, and that's what a lot of people in the government right now would like to do. They would like to make us a slave of the state, and that's the whole reason that kicked off the Revolutionary War. It wasn't because of the grievances alone. It wasn't because of the taxes. It wasn't because of them massacring a bunch of 5 people in Boston. Those were all things that led up to causing the conflict. But once the king ordered the redcoats to go and start seizing arms, start taking away their weaponry, and especially cannons and things that they could affect war with, uh, that's what struck the last match. That's what made the mad strike. Right. That's what kicked off the fire and started the storm.
We just really can't have people out there that could fight back against you.
That's right. If you're a
Look at,
king, you don't want people fighting back against you.
look in Virginia right now. The governor up there who thinks he's king. Look at all the stuff he has signed into law in the last week.
I know. You see Michigan that they were protesting up there? Do you see that
Oh,
protest?
I don't blame them.
They were doing it here in Kentucky, and our governor is now taped off everything and won't let you get near the Capitol now. He's another Democrat.
Imagine.
He's got it blocked off. I got state police blocking it off, so you can't go up there around the Capitol up there. Of course, his house is like right next to the Capitol, so you can't go up there and blow horns at Frankfurt now. And I didn't know that they were having it. If I had known, I'd been there.
Right.
I found out about it like last night or at the end of the night. I'm like, wait a second. I didn't know there was a protest. I would have been up there honking my horn. But because I like to harass the governor, but he's harassing us. Let's harass him back. But if this keeps up, they keep on telling you got to be locked down. You can't go out, can't do things, can't leave the state. Got to quarantine yourself. Got police on private property looking at people's license plates. That's tyranny. And that's not something that our founding fathers would put up with. And I'm not for long. I mean, they put up with it long time. We've been putting up with it for quite a while as well.
Well, that's just like in Mississippi last week. People were in the parking lot doing drive-up church, just like our church does, actually.
Yep.
And there was an officer walking around, well, several officers, but they were walking around and giving out $500 tickets per person in the vehicle.
$500
Per person in the vehicle.
on private property.
Exactly.
Because I've called police whenever there has been fender benders in parking lots and stuff like that, and they say, "Well, we can't come on. That's private property. You just have to take up to your insurance company." I'm like, "But you need to write a report. Well, you just have to take down the information and do it yourself."
Mm-hmm.
But they could come on a church parking lot, start taking pictures of people's license plates and writing tickets. And the abortion clinics open, and the drug and the liquor stores are open. But no, we got to shut the church down.
Medicinal pot places are open. Well, medicinal or not medicinal.
Some states, I don't know. I don't know if the local guys are still in the corner or not.
Not out of business.
The black market. Let me tell you something. I need a black market chiropractor because I'm about broke down, man. My neck is out. I got 2 ribs out, and my shoulders are killing me. And I need a black market chiropractor who will come and sneak in, disguise, or I could sneak into their office. I need a black market chiropractor here in Kentucky because my guys are closed up and said the governor won't let them be in business. We can have liquor stores open. We can have the abortion clinics open. We can't go to a chiropractor can't go to the dentist unless we got a tooth rotting out, which I need to go to a dentist too. I got a tooth giving me fits.
I
I
need to
need
go.
a haircut.
Oh man, I
I
need to
can't
go
get a
back.
haircut. I try to get my wife to cut it. She won't do it.
It, well, my wife told me my daughter Tiffany could do it. I'm like, mm-mm. I can wait.
I mean, I'm getting shaggy, man. I mean, I haven't had a haircut since November. I usually get like 3 or 4 a year because they don't grow very fast anymore with it not having much of a thyroid power going. I'm getting off the lane. Get me back on track, Doug. All right, so Sons of Liberty said, "Hey, we had enough of this," and so they uh, they harassed the redcoats, and they had a battle at Concord and Lexington, and then the redcoats retreated, and on the way back, they took pot shots at them and engaged them. Different groups of men engaged them and harassed them all the way back to Boston, and that was what was called Patriots Day 245 years ago. And guys, I think we're getting close to having a boogaloo. I don't. If they keep on pushing this police state power on us and stuff that's unconstitutional, all these governors' orders and stuff, that stuff's unconstitutional. I mean, it's straight out tyranny. I mean, you can't make those declarations. I understand for health reasons the importance of trying to suggest that people don't go out and spread it around and stuff like that. I'm all for that. Tell us all how bad it is and how dangerous it is. At the end of the day, though, you don't have the right to imprison people. I mean, they've been shutting doctors down for doing surgeries on like someone having a massive break or a dislocated broken shoulder and stuff from accidents, and they won't let them operate on them. They say that doesn't justify it, and they've got doctors turning each other in for violating these requirements. I don't know how it is in your hospital, but that's going on. I know down in Texas, I was listening to an interview with a doctor how there was other people and that she was working with, and they like come in and start investigating this doctor, threatening to shut his practice down forever. She's been shut down for over a month. They're talking about another 2 or 3 weeks. She says she's already had to lay off like 11 people. I mean, I don't understand this. I mean, if people don't have if they don't have the disease, let them have the operation.
Right. And I don't understand why they shut down doctors' offices, because if you follow the rules and do no more than 10 people, you can schedule your office visits. You've only got 2 or 3 office staff usually working, plus a doctor, who are not standing within 6 feet of each other.
All right.
They wear a mask when they come in to check the patient, let them go, and they're usually standing behind a glass when you check in or check out to pay. I, I don't I don't get it. I really don't.
Uh,
You know,
so the thing that I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist, you know, and it actually has looked like it's coming out now that the coronavirus COVID-19 actually did come from the test lab over in China that got out.
Mm-hmm.
That they said it didn't. It started in a wet market, which that's a whole different story. Why anybody want to eat that, I have no idea. But that's on
But
them.
well,
But
go one step further. COVID-19 means it's the 19th version of this virus.
right,
The
exactly,
guy the guy that gets up there with President Trump and talks about how we need to wash our hands and all that stuff. He has a relationship with this WHO director.
yes,
He actually was part of the team that was forecasting this virus that was going to be coming and was talking about in 2017 and
17,
18.
2017. Yep,
He also has ties to the guy at Harvard, which was hooked up with the Chinese, and he was also funding with some American taxpayer dollars this virus.
right. So,
So, yeah, go ahead.
so I was going to say, to me, all they're proving is, how can you take down an American economy that's going good and shut down an entire country?
Yeah,
Hey, I'm telling you, I personally think it's just a test run to see how far it could go.
that and just trying to destroy the economy. They're trying to get Trump out of office. They haven't succeeded in anything else. If you look at the people who's screaming the most over this, it's Democrats and it's the media. The same two people have been harassing the country for the last 3 years over Trump are the same ones screaming and bloody murder and trying to blame him for every single thing that comes out. And so, I'm not saying that the virus isn't real. I think it's a real virus. I think it was
I do too.
developed. I think it was developed to try to kill people, and it was released on purpose to try to destroy economies and seize power. When you have a crisis, that's when the Democrats seize power. You can see it in Kentucky's governor. You can see it in Mississippi's governor. You can see it in
Michigan's governor.
Virginia's governor. Yeah, you can see how they're going to rule if they ever get power, and you're seeing what they're going to do. So if you like that, vote for that garbage. But for me in my house, we ain't for it.
No, and God knows I don't agree with everything Donald Trump says.
No,
because he says some stuff sometimes. It's like, God,
what?
What in the world is he talking about? But I think he is doing a good job. And he I don't know if you saw it the other night or not. He was talking about the governors of the state when he was going to start letting stuff start opening back up again. And he made the mistake of saying that he was basically the supreme person in charge and he could tell the governors what to do. I'm like, you might want to back up on that one just a little bit.
Yep.
I was like, that's the first bad one, and I know it was reporters were agitating him, and the way it came off was probably not the way he intended it to sound.
Well, I'm thinking he's thinking of it from a tax dollar point of view that I'll cut off your funding if you don't do it this way, and services and things like that. Which I don't agree with the heavy hand of the federal government. I don't, but I can understand his angst in dealing with Kumo, the guy who says he will not give God credit for any good news.
Yeah, it was all him. It was all him.
It was all him. It was all Kumo.
He did that. God didn't help out nobody.
Yeah, so that's pretty blasphemy. Yeah, I don't know that I would be that brave to sit up there and say something like that. I think that maybe God will have some words with him.
Probably. If he sees him. Well, he will see him, but
see right before he pulls that lever and goes dropping down.
Yeah. I just don't understand, when all this started out and Trump started trying to do the travel ban from people coming from China because of the virus and that, he's a racist. He's a racist because he's blocking it. People need to be able to come and go. He's a racist. And then once the virus gets here, he should have done a travel ban. He should have done it
earlier.
I'm like, be quiet.
They're on every side of every subject if it can hurt Trump. And so when all that stuff started coming out, when this came out and everybody and their brother was coming out of the woodwork to blame Trump, I was like, you know what? I think we're being set up. And so I've never really deviated from that. I think the virus is real. I'm not saying that people aren't dying. I know people are dying. But people are dying of the flu. People are dying of heart attacks. They can't get in the doctor, get their medicines changed or get checked out. You got all kinds of people dying for all kinds of reasons. I mean, you got.
I can tell you this too. This is fact, especially in New York, that they are coding everything. If you have pneumonia, if you have a heart attack, if you have whatever and have to go to the hospital and you haven't had a test yet, they can accredit your death to COVID-19 to pad the numbers.
Yep. And they are. I mean, I think they're trying to cover themselves because this is going to be such a flop. At the end of this, when we see the actual true numbers, which I don't know if we'll ever get to see actual true numbers, but when we see what the final numbers are, it was not worth all this. I don't think.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's just set off red flags ever since Tanya. Yeah, there's something wrong about this virus. It just don't make sense to me either.
Me and my wife were talking about it when it first started coming out. They started talking about that wet market, and then they showed that virus laboratory that was like 3 blocks away from this wet market. And I told my wife, I said, I bet you it got out from there and somebody walked over there and got somebody else infected. and its own. I said, I guarantee it's been created.
or they just blamed it on that, because they went and cleaned the whole market out
Hmm.
before any other country could come in there and do the examinations on what was the source of it. They wiped that thing out. They shut the market down. They hosed it all down with bleach or whatever. So there was no evidence to go back and actually tie it to that. And there were what was it? There were several of the researchers that died from the virus.
Hmm.
So most likely, and those were back earlier in this, like September or something.
Right.
And so most likely it was from that source or multiple places.
And I'll guarantee you that it was in the United
Still with me?
States. Yeah. You got me?
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
disappeared there for a second.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say,
I mean, we both disappeared.
I guarantee you that it was here in the United States well before February because people were having the symptoms, but they weren't testing for it.
Right,
So they don't know if you had it before that or not.
right. And that's why the death rates were so high, because they didn't have really tests. The only people they really were counting were the ones in the hospital on ventilators or dying of pneumonia or you know lung failure or whatever. And so the rate looks really high. But once they started using these new drugs, well, not new drugs. I mean, that stuff's been around for 100 years. That malaria drug,
Mm.
and
Hydrochloroquine or something like that.
yeah,
Chloroquine.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, we're not doctors. We don't pretend to be. Well, Doug's closer to one than I am, but he knows doctors.
I do know a doctor or two. You know,
So go ahead.
that's like my daughter. One of my daughters. She thought she might have something, and of course, doctors also weren't seeing it, so they're doing telemedicine. So they saw her on her phone, talked to her on an iPad on their office, and told her just to quarantine for 14 days and stay in. So look at all the probably thousands of people that they did that same thing with. And she went back a few days later and they actually tested her because she was getting worse. And they thought she had it. And the entire time I'm trying to tell her, I'm like, you don't have it. You don't fit the symptoms. You don't have a fever. And yes, you're coughing, but you don't have a fever. And she had sinus drainage. And she was saying she was coughing up some blood and stuff she was coughing up. I said, that's because your sinuses are draining in your throat. You're getting it out of your system. I said, you got a sinus ear infection. And they gave her a shot of antibiotics and put her on a Z-Pack. That's all they did for her and tested her.
Mm-hmm.
2 days later, she's feeling better, but she's still quarantined for 14 days. And she didn't get her test back. I think it was 9 days after she got tested before her test came back. And thank God she was negative.
Yeah.
So she didn't have it. But how many people are they sticking in quarantine for 14 days? I got a friend of mine that lives in South Carolina. He had every symptom and they did not test him, wouldn't test him because it was earlier on, wouldn't give him the test, sent him home for 14 days. And he got out of it and got feeling better, a week or so into it. But look at all the people they haven't tested.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, there's something going on. There's something up with it. I don't know. I don't know why it's so many people are just so fearful. And just they're so easy to control when they're fearful. So something's gone wrong with my computer over here, my show notes and stuff. So I can't see you guys over at over at Oath Keepers. I'm sorry. I know you're posting stuff. I'm trying to get to it, but I can't do that and do this at the same time. So we're just gonna have to get some more people to help us out here. All right, so I'm gonna wrap up. You got anything else you want to talk about here about the anniversary? Tell your children about it. What's important about April the 19th, whether it's Sunday or Monday. Steve's over saying it's Sunday. It may be.
Teach teach your kids about history.
Yeah, get
Because they're
this
not going to
book.
teach them in school. I promise you.
Get this book. Teach them what April 19th is about, 1775, and you will equip them to be able to rebut their communist professors in the future. All right, so I'm gonna wrap that up, close that out. How can you help out the show? We got a few little things we're gonna do. Then we're gonna talk about Armed Citizen of the Week. First of all, you can get patches and stickers. They look like this right here, and they're available on our what is our page? Our God and Guns.
They look like that.
Yeah, look like that. God and Guns Facebook, and then there's a store, my Shopify store, and then so you can get those. Shirts are on hold because the guy that was going to make them is closed down because of the contravirus. Hopefully, he'll be back in making shirts soon. I don't think they're not one of those things that are required.
Not essential.
Not essential for shirt makers, I guess. Uh, you can help us out by checking out my Zija page, God and Guns, all spelled out. Dot or period myzija, that's myzija.com. You can find out my testimony and why I take it and why it helps me and what it does for me. Oathkeepers.org, they're not a sponsor, but we are lifetime members of Oathkeepers, and we support their mission. And
Yes, we do.
they are having a raffle for a Ruger AR-15 to support Oathkeepers and their functions and things. So go over there and check that out at oathkeepers.org.
Hey, for one other plug on Oath Keepers, if you just remember, if you're a retired military veteran currently, or active duty currently, law enforcement, first responder, or you're a patriotic citizen that never served in the military, but if you have took an oath of office to defend the Constitution, you need to become a member of Oath Keepers.
Yep. Absolutely. And I'm not, but I joined as an associate. I'm just a patriot.
You're a patriot that served.
And I've got to serve here in Kentucky and then also Virginia. We got to try to serve. We didn't get to do a whole lot over there, but we tried real hard.
Well, if there wasn't a whole lot to do, it was pretty low key as far as on our part.
Yeah, it was pretty low key for sure. All right, so we want to thank Wally at Sub MOA Shooting. There's a discount code called of God and Guns, all spelled out, and that will get you a discount on bullets like these Hornady SST 30 caliber bullets. He sells all kinds of bullets. You can buy a box, or you can buy a case, or you can buy 12 at a time to try them out and see if you like them. So check out Wally over at Sub MOA Shooting. And then
Crossbreed holsters. Hey, Crossbreed makes a holster for you. Pretty much whatever kind of gun you carry, Crossbreed will make a holster for it, and multiple kinds. Troy and I both carrying the Super Tuck Deluxe, and we love them. It's the most comfortable holster you're going to wear. But if you like appendix carry, they got that for you. If you prefer a belly band, they got that for you. They make a holster for any way you want to carry, and for just about any gun you got. Go check our buddies out at crossbreedholsters.com. When you get there and when you find something you like, which you will, especially if you need a new belt, you'll get one of those. They're awesome. Use our promo code GNG, 10% discount just for listening to Troy and I talk about Crossbreed holsters. Also, Axelson Tactical. Axelson, you've heard me talk about it tonight. That's my pigkin gun. Troy has one. I have one. And we support Axelson 100%. And they're awesome rifles. They do custom pistols, custom rifles. They got knives, and they have a storefront where you can go buy other guns. And they make some awesome long range shooting guns, precision guns. So if you haven't checked them out, you're missing out. Go check them out, AxelsonUSA.com. Hey, over at Axelson too. Use a promo code God and Guns and get a 10% discount when you find a gun that you like. PowerTac lights. PowerTac is one of the brightest lights I've ever seen. I'm fixing to buy one of the new M5s and use our discount code on that and get it. But Lane and the guys over at PowerTac go out of their way. We did a story from a listener that sent us a feedback about how Lane went out of his way to put one of the kits together that we were promoting through the show, and they were out. But Lane went out of his way and got all the pieces, parts to put one together for him to get to him and hooked him up. And he said he was a lifetime PowerTac light person now because they went out of their way with customer service. But hey, PowerTac does us a great job and does you a great job. They give us 40% discount code just for going out there and listening to God and Guns. Use the promo code God and Guns, and you'll get your 40% discount. And they also help us out with showing us a little love on the side too. So we can't complain there. Also, last but not least, our Palmetto State Armory link. Hey, if you're looking for parts, like Troy was looking the other talking about, he was looking for parts, some stuff he was looking for. I helped a buddy of mine buy a rifle the other day, and he got it shipped to him, and I'll be putting that together for him probably tonight or in the morning one. And but Palmetto State's got a lot of good stuff. It's quality stuff. It's good. It's affordable, and it's a tag driver. I was shooting the Palmetto State the other night, Troy, when I put that Burris TAC 30 on it. And I mean, I was laying bullets on top of each other, and I mean, they were just stacked. So they are great shooting guns too. But go check them out at palmettostatearmory.com.
Good deal. Well, let me switch back to my notes. Armed Citizen of the Week. What you got in there today?
Hey, we got a good one. This one's coming to us from Texas. Tejas. Texas woman in her 60s takes down a 19-year-old home invader. 19-year-old who broke into a Fredericksburg, Texas home early Saturday morning was shot and killed after attacking one of the residents inside. The Gillespie County Sheriff's Office says the intruder, identified as Cleto Neri Sorlanzo, that's what we're going to call him, may have been on some type of drugs when he began banging on the back door of the home just before 1 a.m. 73-year-old Curtis Royce woke up to the sound of the pounding and went to the back patio to investigate. That's when Sorlanzo broke through the door and began assaulting the older gentleman, first beating him with a blunt object and then placing him in a chokehold. And this comes to us from KVUE TV. They put an article out that says deputies said Roy's fiance, 65-year-old Melody Lumpkin, pled several times for the man to stop assaulting him, but the man did not comply. She then retrieved a handgun from the bedroom and fired a warning shot, but deputies said the alleged intruder continued the assault. When she noticed Roy's was not moving, Lumpkin then reportedly fired another shot, striking the man in the head. When Roy's regained consciousness, officials said they then called 911. According to the sheriff's office, Solorzano
Covered wagons.
Yeah. It was taken to the local hospital where he was pronounced dead. Roy's expected to recover from his injuries, and Lumpkin isn't facing any charges since police believe she was acting in self-defense and defense of her fiance. I doubt that the couple would have been able to take on their much younger assailant if they didn't have the firearm to protect themselves. Though I suppose it's possible that a 65-year-old woman could have taken down a 19-year-old home invader in a fist fight. It's much more likely, however, that after knocking Curtis Roy's unconscious, Sorlanzo would have assaulted Lumpkin as well, and I doubt that would have ended well for the homeowners. Thankfully, the elderly couple did have a handgun ready and available to use in self-defense, and I believe they're both alive today because of it. Lumpkin was able to get to her gun, and the only mistake Lumpkin made was firing a warning shot. I understand the reluctance Lumpkin may have had in actually shooting the home invader, but a warning shot is a bad idea, especially since Sorlanzo, whatever his name is, had already ignored her repeated demands to stop assaulting Curtis Royce. There's no indication that Sorlanzo had any previous criminal charges against him, and the local sheriff's office is calling this an isolated incident. Isolated or not, this self-defense situation could have come to a much more tragic conclusion if Lumpkin hadn't retrieved the pistol and knew how to use it. I'm glad the couple are going to be okay, and my heart goes out to the family of Cleo Soralonzo, who would be alive today if it weren't for the series of bad decisions on his part.
Interesting. Where'd that come to us from? Was that you
Good
said
guy
from
when it
TV?
comes. Huh?
Say it came from a TV?
No, it was Armed Citizen of the Week. That
Okay.
part of it was posted on a TV station, KVUE TV
Oh,
in Texas.
it didn't sound like a reporter. That's the only reason I was. It's
No,
a
so
commentary. It sounded like maybe a Texas deputy or something.
right.
All right, all right. Well,
Hey,
we
well, I
appreciate.
mean, that's what happens. That's what happens to you when you decide at 1 o'clock in the morning to break into somebody's house and try to rob them or beat them or whatever.
That's the thing always gets me. Isolated incident. Although you and I read one every week, every day, every week our show,
Every week,
and we got many to pick from. It's just uh,
it's not very isolated. I
no,
promise.
it's not isolated at all. That doesn't count the ones where they brandished a gun and the people ran off. There's probably 10 to 1 of those
Right.
or more. All right,
I just don't believe it.
don't believe it all. Well, I'm glad she had a gun. It'd be better if she had it on her or he had one on him that they could have answered the door with a gun. Probably
Right.
the way to do it. Shotgun would be well. No, old people that maybe they're strong enough to shoot a shotgun. Maybe we're gonna be there one day, Doug.
We will.
Maybe.
You know,
All right, we're gonna wrap this up. Anybody else has any comments, throw them at us. And remember our prayer and fasting shows in the morning, and we'll try to nail that down, get it better quality. And I'm not trying to waste anybody's time. I want to keep it quick and concise, but still meet the needs that we need to meet there. So
Yep.
send your feedback to Troy@GuyGunsPodcast.com or
Doug at GodandGunsPodcast.com.
please tell your friends about us. Leave us an iTunes review, like us on Facebook, and click like on whatever platform you're on. Please, if you're watching on Facebook or watching on Periscope or YouTube, or wherever, give us a thumbs up, please. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Like our Facebook page, please, at Guiding Guns Podcast, facebook.com/Guiding Guns Podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube again, Twitter. I'm not putting a lot over there. Our Periscope feeds pop up over there. You can search for us on Instagram. I'm popping pictures up over there from time to time. MeWe is a backup site. You can find us over there. And that's where, if everything goes south and social media kicks us all off, which is likely to happen before October or November.
Right.
Well, you can find us over there and our website, GuyandGunsPodcast.com. Doug is going to finish one of these days before he retires. All right, Doug, until next time, have a blessed week.
Keep your guns close, but keep your Bible closer.
Good night, guys, gals, and everything in between.
Everybody have a good night. Dude, it was funny when you said it's showing on Facebook Live that there's 4 people watching. But when you said, click on the like button down at the bottom,
Yeah.
I bet there was 15 flew through there.
Yeah.
The people that heard you say it right then that clicked on it.
Anybody still out there? I meant to show this tonight. This was my great grandfather's pistol. It's an old 1917 U.S. Army
Oh, nice.
45 U.S. Army model 1917 45 AC. Well, it shoots ACP and it shoots the rimmed cartridge too. 45. It's not the Colt, but it's the 45. What is it called? I can't remember. But my uncle, who turned 70 today, carried that as a young man in all over the hills and hollers of Hart County. He used to shoot snakes with it all over Linwood. He used to shoot snakes with a 45. There's a story about him shooting. The Army rented my grandfather's farm. It was a big knob right over Green River down in Hart County. This is some bonus material for you guys who are still hanging in there. So he shot. So the Army flew in there. This was during Vietnam, and so they wanted to lease the land to come in there to practice rappelling out of helicopters and getting out of helicopters in jungle area because it was a really wooded, hilly terrain, steep angles and stuff like Vietnam. and it was close to Knox because Knox is probably 40 miles or so from Linwood, 50 miles from Linwood. So they would fly from Knox, come down there, or Fort Campbell, and come up there and get off of the helicopter and get back on the helicopter and patrol around all over the knob. And it was just a big wooded hillside. And they were out there practicing one day, and my uncle was up there watching them. Of course, he was a young teenager, and there was a colonel out there walking around and telling people what to do and stuff. And he was walking along with them, and there was a copperhead laying out in the path where they were walking to, and he said, "Hold up!" And he reached and grabbed this pistol out of his holster, and it slung out of his holster, pulled up and shot the head off of the copperhead, as so the story goes. Not having been there or knowing anyone else that was there besides my uncle, I'm not for sure. But I trust my uncle, Andrew. But shot the head off the copperhead and startles all the military leaders and stuff, and they say, "Who is this boy?" And he's like 14 or 15, something like that. They said, "Son, when you turn 18, you come see us. We'll sign you up."
Sign me
So
up,
that's the
coach.
story of the revolver. Sign him up. So fortunately, the Vietnam War ended before he was old enough to sign up, I think, and he was not drafted. But yeah, I have that pistol in my possession right now. It's my uncle's, but he's allowed me to keep it for him in my safe for a little bit. All right, so we're going to close it out. Good night, guys. Appreciate y'all being here, and we'll talk to you next week. Or I'll talk to
Good
you.
night, everybody.
Anybody wants to watch?